What's up, everyone? Welcome back. What is what it seems like to TerrorCrave.
Yeah.
Jason, what's going on, man? We have been away for a few weeks. We had to take a bit of a
Yeah.
hiatus,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we're
Crazy
back.
stuff happening.
We,
Sickness and weather and kids' sports and all kinds of life stuff happening.
all kinds of life stuff, guys. But we are back, and we're very excited to be back. We've missed you. I hope you've missed us just as much.
The world's gotten even crazier.
It's gotten crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
There's
know
no
why I say that
stopping.
and I laugh and cackle like it's hilarious, but the world has gotten crazy. It's been a bunch of terrible tragedies that have happened actually since our last show. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if we want to get into that, but it's been crazy, man. It's been crazy and crazier than some horror movies that we actually talk about and discuss. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just real life horror going on, man. You turn the news on and that's what you feel like you're watching right now. I'm like, is this the Shutter Channel?
I know it, you know, I try not to watch much news because it's all depressing. It's all, I know bad news sells, so that's what you usually get to see. Rarely you see anything good, but I don't know. It's got to be some good left out there somewhere, Lee.
Oh, I would
Maybe
hope so,
that's
my
why they're
friend.
not showing it. They can't find any good. It's
Oh,
just
don't say
bad.
that. Don't say that because it's definitely the end of times if that's the case. And I don't
Oh,
want to even think about that,
yeah.
But no, there's some good out there. There's some good out there. Jason, as a matter of fact, our audience, they're
Oh,
fantastic
yeah.
people. They're
They
good
are.
people. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
guys, I
Yeah.
know you guys
Except
are.
for that one guy. That one
Uh,
guy.
I wasn't
Yeah.
even going to mention him. I was going to
All
let
right.
him go. But
Yeah.
all
That's
right,
all right.
see, you're giving him too much attention.
I
You know
know.
how
I know. Yeah. Hey, you ever watch get on YouTube or any of them and just start going down like a wormhole of videos? Like you
uh,
go on there for I know for us, we'll go on and we'll check out some videos for, or at least like new trailers coming up. Or I love cryptid stuff, so all the little legends and folklores and stuff like that, and all the scary stuff. I'll watch little videos, but sometimes you get off to the side and go down. There's stuff on there that I hadn't heard of before, and it's just really interesting and the different points of view. And you start off with this video, and then it turns into this, and then this, and then this. Um, so I like metal detecting uh when I can, when we're not doing movies or when there's not kids sports or stuff like that going on. And there was one about this guy. He's an adventurer. I love stuff like that, like Josh Gates. I love Josh Gates going on his adventures and looking for the treasures that are supposed to be there, but you never know. um there was a guy named Kenny Veach from Las Vegas, and he had like a YouTube channel, but I think he only did like 4 or 5 episodes before he mysteriously he disappeared. Yeah,
wow,
so he would go out and he'd go to all the caves and go splunking and different things, and he gave, it was kind of educational too. He'd tell little stories about this and what he would find out there. And um it was, I don't think it was a really popular YouTube channel until he actually went missing.
right?
And the whole thing was is he went up there. What made him popular is one of them, he comes back and he didn't take his camera with him. And he said, "Oh, while I was out today, it was crazy. I found this cave, and the closer I got to it, it felt like my body was vibrating. But like kind of a painful thing. So he was scared to go in. He said, I didn't have a gun or anything. I just felt scared, so I didn't go in. Well, of course, if you say that, people are then going to say, Hey, where's it at? And then he said, well, I'll see if I can find it, because everybody wanted him to go back with the camera, and film it. So he went back and he didn't find it. Like he had a whole show about how he's going out and he's this and this and this. And one of the key factors is he said the front of the cave looked like an M. And so it would be kind of easy to find, if somebody
Yeah.
spotted it, that's what you look for. Um, so then he had another one where he was going to go back, and he never returned because people kept giving him so much crap about, oh, you didn't find anything, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And he said, well, fine, I'm going to go back and look for it again. But the thing was, is somebody actually commented on it and told him not to go back. If you go in the cave, you're not getting out. And it was very mysterious. Like, all right, well, and you don't know, is it real? Is it not real? So he goes
So,
out there and he never shows back up.
so this guy, YouTube channel star or not star after the fact now because that's we've all picked up he's missing.
Yeah.
Going towards a cave, body feels weird. Somebody comments randomly on there that says, "You go." I'm just trying. I'm making sure I'm getting the information because this is a good story and I haven't heard it before. You're sharing it with me for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, goes and somebody comments that's one of his random followers or just happened to follow or for whatever reason maybe they're intently
Yep.
following because they knew he was on the near that cave. Said, "Don't go back to that cave. You'll just it's not good for you." Now let me ask you this: did he record him going back to the cave, or we don't know
They
because he never got back to go and he
they
never
found
found it?
his, so there's one in the one video where he was out there and he couldn't find it. There was like an old I don't know if it was a well or if it was a straight down like mine, you know what I mean? So, and it was probably the way it looked from the camera, like when they shined it down, it was probably about a 15-20 foot drop before you got to the landing, and then maybe the cave went off or the mine went off from there. They found his camera there when he went back like the final time, I guess, when he went
Yeah,
back to find it. They found it there, but on the film, he never found the M-shaped
shaped
front
cave.
cave. So listen, now that's in the Mojave Desert. So I wrote down some of the stuff on it. He had a daughter and a girlfriend, you know. So his girlfriend, I guess she was sometimes in the video. You could hear her voice, or maybe she was doing some of the camera work or whatever. So some people think it was fake. Um, Now he worked somewhere for like 17 years. He quit that job to pursue this thing where um he was going to make all this kind of different, like, I don't know, artifact um keepsakes and stuff like that he finds out there. He would bring them back and just different things like that. But he wasn't doing good, so he was bankrupt. He was going to have to sell his house.
Hmm.
So
Did the M for the cave stand for the Mojave Desert?
I don't know. I don't know. So
No, so that's an interesting story. So how long ago was this? You may have said in the beginning.
the,
I apologize.
November 10th, 2014 is when he went missing.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
let's see. Now you want to hear the theories that go along with it?
I'd
Like
love
what
to.
happened? Now there's
Yes.
theories like they thought they saw him on camera and breaking into some store like a day or two later or something. Somebody broke into a store and they said, "Man, it looks like the guy that's missing." They don't know. They never caught him.
So real quick, going back to you said they found the recording. Sounded like there were other people's voices on there. I guess for these people, are they said to have been with him when he went missing? So they're missing as well?
No, one person. One person. Now these people, this is some of the theories, and the one that's probably the most realistic is, well, one of them that could be realistic. He died from the elements or a snake bite because there are rattlesnakes out there. He was known not to take enough stuff. He was an avid hiker, but he didn't take like he would take like a Cliff Bar and a one bottle of water or something, and go out there hiking, you know, pretty much all day, which I think is crazy. I don't know. Oh, let's see. So
So
dehydration,
if
animals.
that was the case, then do they think that just the one where he died snake myself, then his bones and body and carcass and all that stuff got taken away by coyotes or whatever it might be
Could have
that were
been.
running
Oh,
around?
there's mountain lions around there.
Yeah.
Another one is there was a theory that, now this is close to Area 51, not far from Area 51. So there, of course, the entrance was of entrance to get all the way to Area 51, like a secret entrance into Area 51, and he got too close. So now the another item that would support that theory is the military does actually have weapons. And let's see, oh, I wish I had written the name of the actual weapon down. A weapon that emits these pulses, vibrating pulses, that will pretty much just, like, I don't know, it harms you, it just hurts you, headaches, fatigue, it'll make you like fall out.
Right. Which coincides or correlates with his
With his
initial
claim,
story. Yeah, that he felt that way as he was getting
yes.
closer to it.
So he may have gone back there, and like somebody said before, there was somebody in an anonymous guy commented, if you go back in, you will not come back out. you know, so maybe he knew he was, I don't know, maybe he worked at Area 51.
Could
So
be.
that would be like a government cover up or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So then you watch all that and you're watching the videos and everything. And then the wife comes out or the girlfriend comes out and says, he was a depressed man. He was bankrupt. He was losing his house. Um, I don't know if she was leaving him or was, I don't know what was happening there, but with her relationship with him, but she said that he had stated that if he said that he could go out there and commit suicide. He said, but if I do that, nobody would ever find my body. And I was like, well, shit, this dude done gone out and just committed suicide, led this whole big thing up. And or he could have just disappeared. He was so bankrupt that he just went and started off somewhere else and started a new life.
Yeah, that one, which is very possible, but at the same time, I feel like that this story has become such a phenomenon that people would be able to even comments now. Hey, I know this guy's Larry James. He lives down there at
Yeah. Yeah. I
you
mean,
know what I mean? If he were to disappear, that's a big disappearance, which is still very possible. I mean, you could find a small town, I guess,
I guess,
somewhere, or
but I
even a big
mean,
city somewhere, and just randomly,
well, when you think of somebody that wants to do something like disappear out of the face of the public and all that, you have to have money to do that. You just can't like, well, I'll just,
start a
go
new
a couple
life.
of states over and I don't have any money, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty interesting story though. I mean,
It's pretty
yeah,
neat, but there's a lot of videos on people going out to try to find the M-shaped cave now or find him. A lot of
is
them
it?
think they know where it is, and there's like pictures of it. Like one of the videos where he said that he couldn't find it when he went back out there, and then he was like, "Well, I don't know where it's at. I don't know. I have to come back another time." And then that's where a bunch of the viewers gave him a bunch of crap, like, "Oh, you're faking it." No, it wasn't. It was nothing. So, but one of the caves that he went by looked like an M in the front of it, and I was like, "There it is. Hey, dude, turn around. There it is."
Yeah,
But he said that wasn't it. So I don't know. It could have been something to build up viewers. Trying, who knows?
yeah, I don't know. It's probably pretty wild though. I mean, and it could have been, it could very well be some prank or anything like that. But if not, I mean, maybe he did get too close.
Well, the
Maybe he
thing
did. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but I guess the question is, what is his family saying besides the girlfriend?
I think they just think he's gone. They think that he, just died out there. The only problem I have with he just died from the elements. Why would he leave the camera set like his camera? And I think that his car keys were sitting on this entrance to this vertical mine. And I mean, that's where they found the camera and the keys.
Yeah,
And he wasn't down at the bottom of it. I mean, if he had just fallen down to that, they would have found him.
right, right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that it was an elements thing because I don't think that he would just be like, oh man, I got to get back to civilization. But before I do, let me set my camera and my car keys down over here. That doesn't make sense. If you know where you're at, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Aliens.
I think that's probably what I was going to say next. So obviously, it's that area, or no pun intended, Area 51. You
Yeah.
said, and I mean, yes, the imagination definitely carries you to that point and be like, all right, he's getting weak in the knees. And yes, we've all heard of that sensory deprivation, not sensory deprivation sort of so much, but that thing that makes you lose control and
Yeah.
of your body or not be able to move is quite well. And
I
that's exactly what he was going through.
My luck it would be the one that just like what was that movie? Like he shot the gun at him and all it does is make you like use the bathroom in your pants. What was it? Mystery Men. Wasn't it
Oh
Mystery
yeah,
Men?
yeah,
He
yeah,
just made
yeah,
this the safe weapon. That would be like, oh man, I'm not going back and getting on camera now.
right,
Daggone
right.
it.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's pretty wild.
So then another one that I found off of this wormhole, which I always seem to go down these wormholes on YouTube. Whenever you're searching for like cryptid stuff or paranormal stuff, man, you can go way off track. But then some of the best things you find are the ones that are way off track. Um, what about the creature of the land between the lakes? I'd never
So
heard of it.
I had neither. So that one actually I do know about. We did our research, guys, on this one, and I found that story to be, yes, very interesting, very crazy. I think the description of the wolf, or at least the way they showed it in the first video, which was the animated one, that
Hmm.
which that's the same story, right? It was just except from the other one that we heard with the recording, I guess, of
Yeah.
that one. Yeah. So, um, first of all, I blame the man on the couch because he got up way too slowly to walk back to the room to get the gun after the paw was going through the door.
Yeah.
But those creatures actually reminded me of the creatures from the Howling.
Yeah. That's
I
what
mean, that's exactly what
the
they look like.
description.
Yes, the description, and also that, yeah, the description and the animated thing that I saw, it looked just like that. It reminded me of that. So that's where it took me back to. So that lots of crazy things about that story. I mean, and again, with these stories, I just wish it would happen to somebody that was a well-known individual
Incredible.
or a respectable person, but they just
Yeah.
never, it seems like they never do. At least, because I think it's an interesting, crazy story. And I do believe in there's lots of things out there,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, that we're not aware of as
Right.
humans, you know what I mean? And yes, people do experience these things. I believe that there's Bigfoot, you know what I mean? He's going around there out there. I never heard of land or monster between the land between the lakes either.
Yeah.
Um, but that's this family apparently for the audience. We don't know much about the family. They seem to have been Amish, maybe, and they were out in a Winnebago, and they were just kind of living off the land.
Yeah.
And they befriended this boy who lived in the nearby area, right? And
Yeah.
then this
Yeah. It was
boy's
his uncle or somebody in his family had property or something down there. And I guess the Amish couple, I guess they were squatting, or did they own land there? Because it almost like at first it seemed like they were just squatting in their little like bus
yeah,
camper thing, but then they had a house with a big trailer and
they didn't have
money.
yeah, they just had this big Winnebago, I guess. I don't know if they had a house, so to speak, at least, but they had the
Oh,
big
I guess.
Winnebago that they were living in. And they asked this kid's family, who I can't imagine me letting these people who
I
have been living
know.
in the woods, and somebody
I know.
came up and knocked on the door and said, "Hey, we were wondering if we could take Quinn out
That was like,
to
yeah,
the
that was,
to the woods for an hour. I mean, for an overnight stay." And
yeah. So it was kind of, he met them, they went up to the relative's house, the boy did, around Christmas time, right? And I guess they stayed for a week or two. And that's when he met the Amish or this other family in the
who's who
trailer.
who he was thinking was they were from Amish descent, just the way
The
they
names.
behaved, their
Yeah.
names,
Yeah.
and and the way they behaved. He said when the father spoke to the children looked to the ground, you know what I mean, and just all of these things about them that led the last surviving witness
Yeah.
to be, how what that was his perception.
Yeah. The witness
Is
that nobody knew about up until, this one uh group of people did a video on the beast of land between lakes. And their video, I guess he didn't like the some of the stories about the way that the people were killed. So
he
do you
didn't like.
believe him?
Well, here's why I have some things that make me question. Again, the fact that and again, maybe this Fias family is a very trusting family. I don't know. But the fact, like I said, that this family that was living in the woods came and said, "Hey, we'd like to take your son with us further into the woods for a couple
Yeah.
nights.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?" "Yeah, sure, go ahead." Then when this tragedy happens, they drop the officers drop the kid back off.
Here you go.
No questions asked from
Yeah.
the
That's
family.
not to talk about this, boy.
So
Uh,
it's just, to me, that's why it raises, if this was the thing that really went down with the family and all of this stuff, that there was, that there was no more, that this other family that had the kid there, there was no questions, there was no follow-up on anything, you know what I mean? And that's why, I guess that's where I have a problem. Not problem, but that's where there's too many holes to be poked into. Yeah, I mean, is there a reason for the guy to lie? I mean, he's using a fake name. You know, he's not even going by his real name, or was it Roger or
They
Elijah,
said two
maybe?
different names. They were like,
Yeah,
well, Roger, do you want people to call you such and such? And he was like, oh yeah, you can call me that if you want. Not my name. You can call me whatever.
yeah. But the story is terrible because apparently, and not only that, remember the first story only had one creature.
Yeah.
Roger's story or
Two.
had two creatures because
Yeah.
one was attacking them from outside, and the people who were inside, one came in through the window.
Yeah.
No, and apparently, to your point, Jason, as you brought up, there was no, there was one. I guess they found a body. The story, the animated thing, had said they found the body in the trees,
Yes. And he said it
and
wasn't,
he
said she was
disputed
in
that.
the,
Yeah,
yeah. He
he
said
just
that that body, which was the little girl, was in the RV or whatever.
yeah,
The other, remember they said also, they said that because it was dog men, not a Sasquatch, a dog men, that they thought that the husband that got killed, the father or whatever in the RV, they thought that he was wearing some kind of musky cologne, and that's what set off the
attracted them.
creature or attracted him. But the guy that the witness said that he wouldn't have, because they were Amish. They never wore cologne, or what, the mother didn't wear makeup and stuff like that. So he kind of kicked that part out the window.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, man? Like I said, I don't know. I do tend to believe that there are things out there that we are not quite aware of. So it's hard for me to just call BS on any story because who knows? There's very possible that they did happen. But then again, that's what his story makes me ask other questions. You know what I mean?
It's a
As
bunch of
far as to,
questions.
as well, just like for instance, those two things alone. Why the family let this random family take their boy out into the woods, for a
All
couple of
right.
nights say. And then the second one is when they brought him back home, there was no follow up to be like, what do you mean these people, there's this random family's dead? You know what I mean? And my son was out there, or my nephew, or whoever. And there's no, I mean, you know what I mean? It just
Yeah. So how
seems,
was camp? Oh,
yeah, yeah.
well,
So
what about if they're dogmen and he was just hiding in the RV? Wouldn't they have smelt him?
yeah, yeah. He was
I
hot.
mean,
Wasn't he under the RV?
yeah, he shot
Yeah,
one of them anyway. It like hit it and it fell down and jumped back up. But then apparently Levi, the father, the Amish guy father, um, shot it and killed the one, and the other one broke into the RV. And I was like, what? I don't know about that, man.
um,
It's a lot of. First of all, um, when I listened to the witness on the phone part interview, I was like, I was so into it. I was like, oh my god, this dude was there. There ain't no way he wasn't there the way he's talking. And I was like, I don't know, I could probably write this as a script.
right.
You know what I mean? But I think the important part to remember of the story is it did actually happen. A family of five, or a family of four, was killed there.
So that
And
part is true, right? That is
yeah,
an
the
accurate
murder is true.
100%.
The murder is true. So there's a couple of I guess theories for that too.
Well, what wolves, right? Or just some type of,
Yeah, just wild animals. There's bears, there's anything that you can think of, there's there. You got deer. It's a great place. It's 170,000 acres. You can camp there, you can hunt there. I mean, of course, you can go boating, whatever. It's supposed to be a great campground until you get around to like, oh, I'm not staying in this section. Uh-uh. Well, there's nobody else here. I know. Um, but I think that it was probably wild animals, or this is another area. This is who was it? Kennedy, John Kennedy in the 60s was the one that took the land to make this national park reserve. So he took the land. Some people didn't want to go. So now I got the mindset of, oh, there's some wrong turn stuff going on there. I was going to say another word, but I
right.
caught myself. You never know. So it could have been just like wrong turn, and they took the wrong turn, and there's just like these crazy people just waiting.
No, you don't know. I mean, and that is why I'm not one who likes to travail out into the deep into the woods for an hour to go camping with
Yeah.
no one else around.
No,
That's just nothing. What about you, man? Are you someone
I
who
would. Oh yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat, and I'd
like
probably
go
be
out
the.
just you and a buddy and camp out two
Oh
hours
yeah,
into the woods and
I try it out. I try it out. but I would want somebody, and I would want somebody to have a gun with them just in case, a
Right.
handgun or something. You never know, because I know we did a paranormal investigation at a battlefield one time, and I remember hearing on the news that day that bear were really bad, black bear, at this time of year. I think it was June, July, whatever it was, and I can remember hearing noises all throughout the woods when we were walking back around, and it wasn't ghosts that I was scared of. All I could think about, oh, is bear are bad in this area, so I'm not trying to like fight a bear. So it wasn't the ghost stuff. Everybody thought I was like jumpy because of ghosts, and I was like, no, jumpy because of bears.
Right.
They just woke up.
Could be bear ghosts.
Could be Sasquatch. Big old that's the other thing is I know I talk about it all the time. We talk about stuff like this all the time, like going out where people have seen a Bigfoot, or there's sightings have been within the last couple of years or something. And I always think it was like, man, it'd be cool, so cool to go look for them. Then I'm like, what are we gonna do if we find it? You know what I mean? Because I see me and you out there with just like a camera, no
Um,
weapons, maybe my
hey,
little pocket knife or something. But
see, that's where you are. Clairvoyance is clairvoyancy is incorrect.
I think it's in your contract.
Because that is you'll never see me out 2 hours into the woods, just you and I about to camp
Yeah,
out somewhere in the dark. No way, sir.
yeah, just
I've seen too many. I've just seen and maybe hopefully that keeps me alive. I've just seen too many of those crazy horror movies, or heard too many of the LBL, Land Between the Lake stories. That where, hey, even if it wasn't a um werewolf or some type of creature,
yeah.
those people are still dead by
Yeah,
something. You
somebody
know
killed
what
it,
I
something killed 'em. Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? So it's something that, and they had guns and all kinds of stuff. But guess what? His whole family was slaughtered, unfortunately, which is terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
2 children. Oh yeah. So I mean, it was a terrible thing that happened. But what was the year? Do you know that? I don't remember if I caught that.
82.
It was
Eight
1982.
yeah, 82. Yeah.
Okay.
It was odd, man. Some of the like the guy even threw in like the witness or whatever, Roger or whatever he went by. He even threw like a little conspiracy theory into that on top of everything else. He was like, yeah, they were Amish, but I'm pretty sure they were Amish. The guy's name was Levi and his daughter's name was this, but they called her Fanny something, or they called one of them Fanny, like the daughter Fanny instead of the actual name. Like the mother and the daughter, he called them by a different name.
Right.
When the boy, the witness was like, oh, well, their names were this, but he called such and such. That's why he thinks that, they had cash like in a checkbook, and he made it sound like were on the run from the Amish or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could have been excommunicated for whatever reason.
And for all we know, I mean, when you hear that story too, if you think about it, I mean, maybe what were they on the run from? Who were they on the run from? So maybe the people that they were on the run from even caught up with them. And well, I guess, I mean, they would have had to have been some creatures they were running from, the way they were torn all up like that. Anyway, it's terrible tragedy, and that is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another reason for me to stay out of the woods, my friend. Another reason
Yeah.
for me to stay out of the woods.
I never thought of it like that, Lee. It was like, man, there's a whole bunch of people got killed right here, and they think it was the bunny man. Think the bunny man did it. No, it wasn't the bunny man. Well, let's go out and check it out anyway. Never think of, well, somebody killed him.
Yeah.
You're out looking for the bunny man. This other dude's walking over like, what you all up to?
Yeah. So yeah,
Funny.
it's just too, again, somebody needs to be within yelling distance. They need to hear my screams for help.
Yeah, that's right. If we go anywhere out of like cell phone range, that's too far.
Yeah, I
Got to
concur.
keep at least 3 bars at all times.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we go
Oh
left?
man,
Nope. I only got 2 bars that way. So
exactly.
we'll do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
man.
but yeah, those wormholes, man, there's so many really, I don't know if they're like real or not, but there's so many really cool different videos that you can check out that just will lead you into another wormhole. And then you find out about new cryptos,
Right.
you know? And there's legend to it though. I mean, that one they're talking about, there were skinwalkers there at one time Native Americans talked about them before like settlers even came in.
Yeah,
So it goes back a long way. So it's an old legend. But a
that's
dog
true.
man kind of scares me more than a Sasquatch, to be honest with you. I just think of a
Well,
werewolf.
that's
That's
exactly
scary.
what I think of. Yeah, that's exactly what. And I wonder. I mean, like I said, I definitely thought of the Howling Werewolves specifically when I saw those things. The animation of them.
It made me
Um,
wonder if there was a full moon that night, because that would be even crazier.
you know, I'm
I don't
surprised
know.
those guys didn't ask old Roger.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. I know there's a way you can find out if it actually was a full moon, but we'll have to get our assistants to take care of that. That seems like it might take a long time.
We should find Roger and ask him our own questions about that evening.
Yeah. Was there a full moon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And why did your parents let you go with these random people?
That's the best question. Like, yeah, you met him for 2 days before, and now you're going to go on a 2-week hunting trip with him.
Hey, Jason, think about this. Ethan comes back, from running around in the woods. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I just met the best people out here in the woods, man." And of course they still come up with like, "Hello, I'd like to take your son back deeper into the woods." You're like, "Sure," you know.
Let me help you pack, Ethan.
Yeah,
Come
no
on, man.
problem. So yeah, I
No.
just that's my I got it. That's question number one. That's question number one for sure.
Yeah. Well, daggone well, it's usually like 3 or 4 times at least before your kid can even go to like somebody's house or something. It's not like they come over to school. Oh, Steven is so cool, man. Can I go over to Steven's house? Well, I don't really know Steven, man.
Yeah,
We'll see the next ball game or something. I'll get to know him a little bit or something. You know what I
yep.
mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead over to Steven's house. I don't know
But
who Steven is.
we are talking 1982. Things were a little looser, a
That's
little
true.
loose. You know what I
That's
mean? So I
true.
mean, but I still think though that that's a
I don't think
crazy.
my mom would have let me go.
Nah, dude.
Uh-uh. Not
Nah,
with the weird people in the camper into the woods. Just go. But they got a new camper now, Mom.
they got a new camera.
Yeah.
It's so
What you
good. It's
doing?
so cool.
Yeah. Got a bathroom and everything.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Yep.
yeah.
Wow, dude. Wow.
Yeah. Watch those wormholes.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
hey, so Stranger Things is this Friday night?
Yes, guys. Stranger Things is coming up. We're dropping. They have kind of like did what Ozark. Netflix is doing this random thing, and I kind of like it. I dig it actually.
Like
Makes
the
you feel
half
like you're
season?
watching. Yeah, Ozark randomly wrapped up its season, but they did like they dropped 7 episodes or 8 episodes in February. I'm sorry, January, and then dropped another 8 episodes. About a month ago.
Yeah.
And now
That's a long
Strange.
season anyway, 16 episodes.
It is, and like they kind of break it up even to make you feel like you're watching a little bit
Sure.
more than what you are just at that one binge. But Stranger Things is following suit a little bit, a little different because they're dropping 7 episodes here on the 27th, I think that is, of May, which is
Yep.
Friday before
Yep.
Memorial Day. 7 episodes, and then July 1st they have 2 more episodes that are coming out after that. So a month in between. But the good thing is about these episodes is there's a lot of them that are like these are long episodes.
Yeah.
Most Netflix shows last anywhere between 50 and 60 minutes, I think, right? And again,
Mm,
that's straight runtime. There's no commercials. You know what I mean? That's just straight. It's good. Of just pure unfiltered quality television
yeah.
show, whatever you're watching. Stranger Things running, I think, hour and 15 minutes on average. And
Yeah.
then episode 7 alone is an hour and 38 minutes, right? Those are long, long episodes.
That's a
That's
movie.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 7 is a movie length. And some of the other ones are too, hour and 17 minutes. There's definitely been movies that have been released. Not saying the quality of them is fantastic, but they're an hour and 17 minutes long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the second episode, or 2 episodes in July, episode 8 and 9. Episode 8's hour and 25 minutes. Episode 9 is 2 hours and 30 minutes long.
And what
That
is that the finale or what is that one? Episode 9,
it is the finale of
the
the
season.
season. Yeah, definitely. They're getting one more season, I'm pretty sure. But that's crazy to me. That's a long, long episode right
That's
there.
a
And
hell of a cliffhanger. Yeah.
It
I wonder why they
is.
didn't split that in half. Maybe
Which
it's
one?
just the episode 9, like 2 hours and 30 minutes. You'd think that they could split it. Maybe it's just so good and you can't split it,
Yeah,
I guess. So
yeah.
that's exciting.
It is very exciting, man. And this season, I was reading something too that talked about it, is that they've said, the show was explained when they sold it to Netflix. It was going to be part Goonies,
Right.
which is dealing with the children, part Jaws, and then part Close Encounters of the
Oh,
Third Kind,
I like
right?
that.
So that's kind of how they explained how the show would be. And as they've gone on and as the kids have gotten older, they said they've had to drop the Goonies aspect of it. So that's why
Yeah.
they're just more horror now
Yeah.
than there was. It's going to be this one. And I don't know if you've seen we probably have, or guys in the
Yeah.
audience, the trailer definitely shows, a little bit more horrific imagery. It's always had some more horror aspects, like I said, but they've now evolved in that
It's
Goonies
darker.
aspect with the kids. These kids are now young adults almost, so they're able to tell a little bit more harder stories. But yeah, it's definitely darker. My son and I did a little sneak peek. They just released the first 8 minutes already, a couple of days ago. So I did watch the first 8 minutes of it, and it's bloody. The first
Uh,
8 minutes, I'll say that.
where did you see that at?
I came across it. I forgot where we saw it, but I read that it was released, and then I
Okay.
think I just came across. We were looking at the new Thor trailer actually
Yeah. Yeah.
that just dropped, and then excuse me, down later on down the line of the wormhole, as you say, on YouTube, it showed first 8 minutes of Stranger Things. So I
Okay.
checked it
I
out.
know they do that a lot of times at like Comic Cons and stuff. They'll show like an extended intro trailer or something,
Yeah.
or like you said, just the first 8-10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, and look, it's pretty exciting. I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but it does. It goes back to. It has a character that we haven't seen since season 1, Matthew Modine's character.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it tells a little bit of just a little more insight into him, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. Left me want more. I'm very excited about it, dude. It's gonna be awesome.
And what is it, Obi-Wan the same day?
Obi-Wan drops, yes, also on May 27th. That's just the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's still, I think it's going to be pretty exciting to see. I'm excited to see, or interested to see, I guess, who gets the most views right off the bat, whether it be Obi-Wan or whether it be Stranger. I actually think Stranger Things is going to win, to be
I think
honest with
they
you.
will. I
I
think they
do. I
will.
think there's high interest for Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
especially now that we've got Anakin Skywalker back. Darth Vader's going to be in this, so I think there's a high interest. But I think that between the two, man, I think Stranger Things is gonna beat them out.
Which one will you watch first?
Oh wow. I think I'm gonna do the Stranger Things thing first. I don't. I'm gonna try to definitely. I think we're gonna jump on that first.
Yeah, I think
I think the family alone is way more excited about Stranger Things than Obi-Wan, even though I'm very excited about Obi-Wan. So I think Stranger Things is gonna I'll be outvoted anyway, and we'll do the Stranger Things.
I think that I'm going with Stranger Things first too, even though I'm really looking forward to Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
But I think that if you don't get Stranger Things in as soon as possible, people are
you'll
going
be
to be
spoiled.
leaking so much stuff on. Yeah. And I don't want to know anything about that season, although I don't want to know anything about Obi-Wan either.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and you could always Obi-Wan's only 2 episodes too, so it won't take as long to
yeah.
knock out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll be releasing. I guess they're gonna release every Friday.
Oh yeah. Instead of the third, yeah, they usually do Thursdays for those, didn't they? They did
They
with
or it was Thursday or Wednesday. I get confused with the Disney Plus shows. Um, Sometimes they are Wednesday nights. I think the Marvel shows were Wednesdays, and maybe the Star Wars have been Thursdays.
okay.
Maybe that's how it went down.
All right.
But yeah, it's
I
gonna
wouldn't have
be.
put it out the same as, I guess it doesn't matter though anymore. It's not like CBS or ABC.
Yeah, you can watch it when you want to watch it.
Yeah, so
You know
it's
what I mean?
just
It's not like it didn't. It's not head to head where you gotta.
yeah.
You know,
No competition.
Yeah, no. So, but I mean, it's still. I am anxious to see who wins out on the amount of views right off the bat. And I would put my money on Stranger Things,
Hmm.
like you said.
Yeah. I did see where Doctor Strange just beat the Batman for a
Oh yeah,
premiere or whatever, which knew
it
that was
it
going to happen
it
anyway.
opened
But
up higher than Batman because right now Batman was actually had the highest opening so far of the year,
mhm.
here in 2022, and that's had the highest opening weekend. But then you knew Doctor Strange riding off
Yeah.
of, and again, you know, who would have thought though that a Doctor Strange movie would ever make more money than a Batman movie a few years ago? Doctor Strange was always a B-list character, you know what I mean? And but it is, but he's also got the 10 years worth of story that's been riding through this and
Yep.
the excitement of all these different things that were going to happen and the fact that he was in Spider-Man. So he's already made more, and it's already made more in just a few weeks than what Batman did in this whole run. Batman made it topped out at about $750 million, and I think as of last weekend, Strange was already at $800 million in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
They made it sound like it.
Worldwide gross.
Yeah, they made it sound like it was such a big surprise that Doctor Strange had pulled ahead, and I was like, it's not. Yeah, you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, you did. And again, this was another story of Batman, so it was the beginning of a story. You know what I mean? If it was a sequel of this movie,
But
I
it
think
was
that's
good.
going to even make any more. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good. Batman was almost had a lot of horror aspects to it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that one time.
Mhm.
It was more on the true detective type stuff instead of the
Yeah.
other, so which was cool. I liked it.
Yeah,
It
me
was
too.
more realistic.
Yeah, it was. It was good stuff. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Any other movie news that you can think of coming up?
Well, I know we talked about the monsters. I think we talked about the last episode, but there is, I think since the last episode, they've announced a rating for the monsters, and that is going to be a PG rating. And also, they've announced the runtime, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes, I think, as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, and I think they've also announced at one point it was being made for Peacock, but I've seen her rumblings through our connections within the showbiz world
Yeah.
that it was going to be released on Netflix, which
Yeah.
I think is going to give it more exposure.
Yeah. I think that's a step up. Nothing bad against Peacock,
Peacock,
but yeah, I think Netflix is a step up.
dude, you know what? We've been slipping, or maybe you've already watched it. Did you check out the new Firestarter on Peacock?
I haven't. I was going to ask you about that, but I haven't watched it yet. And I think I saw it and I was like, oh, I got to watch this. And then I just kind of started watching something else.
Yeah, you know, it actually, I was excited to see it. I have not watched it yet, but what I did go back and revisit was the old Firestarter. I watched up to the point where they cat Charlie and her dad, and the company had captured Charlie and her father.
Yeah.
Charlie, of course, played by a young Drew Barrymore. Now, and so I did go back and revisit that. That was interesting to watch.
It wasn't
I
the best Stephen King movie back
it,
then.
but you know what's interesting is that he did. I was reading stuff about because I went back. Well, I do my own little wormhole down the entertainment world, you know, and I was reading. I started to read a lot about Firestarter,
Yeah.
and I know that Stephen King spent a lot of time on the set,
Yep.
right, and was actually given a lot of positive comments about it. Then you know, then it came out, and that didn't seem like he had a lot of good things to say about it. I know, just like any '80s movie, I think John Rainbird, the guy who was sent out to track down Charlie and her father,
Yeah.
and bring it back to the company, you know, King had written him as a Native American.
Hmm.
Now, of course, what does the movie world do in the early '80s? They cast George C. Scott as
Well,
as a Native American role. You know,
yeah.
so I think that didn't sit right with Stephen King
Nah.
then. You know what I mean? So I do know that the new one is appropriately cast and all of that, and it's. Did you like the original Firestarter?
No. I mean, it was okay. It had a couple of good scenes, but I didn't really even like I read the Stephen King books too, usually after the movie, but I guess, yeah, for the most part after the movies, but It just wasn't one that I was as interested in as the other ones. It wasn't as like scary to me, I guess.
Yeah, definitely was more of a was more looking for a chase, a hunt.
Yeah, he
In the
has
very beginning,
like
at
some of
least.
his are more like thriller stuff, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
And
I wouldn't put that on the same level as like The Shining or something,
no, you
you know.
definitely couldn't do that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But it was a uh, I lost my train of thought, but what I was going to say about the King movies. It was definitely different. I am going to watch the new Firestarter though.
Yeah.
It did come out same day release in theaters and in Peacock. Unfortunately, the movie flopped tremendously,
Yeah.
big time at the theaters. It barely made any money. So
Uh,
I don't know if that's the fault of the fact that people that did want to see it wanted to see it on, that's the age old question, right? On these same day releases on these streaming.
I don't think it would have done that well at the theater anyway, to be honest with you. Not
Yeah,
that one. I think Salem's Lot, when that comes out, I think that's going to do better just because it's more of a classic.
right.
I did hear also that Stephen King is teaming up with Stag on it. Whoever it is, they're going to do a series for Under the Dome. You remember they had the TV one a while back, which I thought was okay,
Yeah.
but it should have ended. It should have only been like one season, you know?
And that's what the plan was. See, and that's what
Yeah.
they do. A lot of the times they ruin things.
Hmm.
Is the season one was such a huge
Walking
hit.
Dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to that. Well, but Under the Dome was such a good, huge hit for the first season.
I
Then they
liked it.
kind of, I did too, and I watched it actually through the very end. I
Yeah, I
watched
did.
all three. I watched all three
Yep.
seasons. But I would say season one was best. But then they just don't know where they're going. You know what I mean? Because they kind of go. They just want to extend the life of something that was should have only been had that small shelf life to begin with. The
Yeah.
story.
Well, it got good success. And, you know, what do you do with success? You try to get
And
more
yeah,
success.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
But
it was good.
what I want to do is I think we should do a show where we kind of rate the Stephen King movies, man. Um, and I don't think we've done that yet, right? I think we should kind of rate
How
them and
many
see
of
which
them?
one is the best.
Like,
Uh,
like
because
movies and TV series, like all combined.
we could no. I want to do theatrical releases and then we can come back and do the series.
I like that.
We could do that, but
Yeah.
because there's so many King films that I go back and I think about, or even ones that I've watched then that weren't like they just were. You could see they were rushed or not well done. One that stands out it definitely to me is Maximum Overdrive.
Oh yeah.
And well, that one, he wrote and directed. Stephen King himself
Yeah.
directed that film, but he was
Yeah.
apparently really, really coked out during the
Oh
film.
yeah. Well, oh, you couldn't tell?
You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? And he just didn't know. Apparently, the studio that was doing him at the time, uh, Stephen King he kept complaining about the things that the output that they were doing and stuff like that. So the guy was like, "All right, hey, see what you can do with it," And they did Maximum Overdrive, and he's like, "Oh, well, that's the worst one ever," you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you think they could remake that?
Was it Dino De Laurentiis? Is that who? Somebody who I can't remember who was producing his '80s movies, but anyway. But what was your
I
question?
can't remember. Do you think they'll do another one of those? Maximum Overdrive?
They've actually done that. And they called it Trucks, but it was a made-for-TV movie.
Really?
But it came out in the '90s. But
Just based on Stephen King's
it was based on because I think Stephen
same
King's short
characters and
story was
all?
called Trucks.
Huh.
The short story was called Trucks, but they redid it as they called it Maximum Overdrive. Uh, um, that came out in the theater.
That's pretty
The
wild.
short story itself was called Trucks. So they've done it. But yeah, I don't know. This whole conversation started with the monsters and talking about it
I
being
don't know. I don't know.
in a PG, but I digress. We'll wrap that up with that and just say because we could go on forever. I could at least about Stephen King movies,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
adaptations and stuff
whole
like
2 or
that.
3 shows by itself.
Yeah, so I digress. Go back to the monsters real quick. Comes out. We don't have a release date yet, but we know it's 2 hours and 30 minutes long and it's PG, which I wanted to say was very surprising to me because every time I see that it's Rob Zombie, as we all know.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expected it to be R, even though I think we questioned it quite a bit, even in our discussion. That would be very, we
Yeah.
discussed this in previous
Maybe
episodes.
PG-13 or something.
Yeah, but that's what I keep looking for, that 13 after it. I keep reading these articles, but it keeps saying PG. no PG-13 at all, which is interesting to me that he's really
Well, I thought
watered it.
Addams Family was even PG-13, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
The Tim Burton ones.
No, they were Tim Burton's. Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
Tim Burton is doing the new Wednesday
Wednesday. Yeah, that's where
show.
I got
Yeah,
confused.
yeah. Of the Addams Family. But
Yeah, that should be all right too.
yeah, Barry Sonnenfeld directed the original first two Addams Family and Addams Family Values. He's the guy who directed Get Shorty, Men in Black trilogy, Wild Wild
That's right.
West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good
Oh,
movies.
yeah. Well, Wild Wild West.
I liked Wild Wild West.
Did you really? Okay, okay.
No,
You
not
know,
really.
a little bit of
I
that.
mean, I liked Will Smith in that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Do you know Will Smith chose to make that movie instead of The Matrix?
Yeah, I heard that.
You know,
Yeah.
those are the two, and he decided to go with the Wild Wild West
I think
instead.
most actors probably have that story somewhere. I could have done this, but I did this instead.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Um, you brought up the Wild West. You did bring up that, but no, or I brought that up. You brought up Walking Dead, Fear the Walking
Yeah.
Dead. So I know you're a little bit ahead of me. So without spoiling anything, I just got to give you my thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead real quick.
Yeah.
It seems like week to week character motivations switch in this show. I don't understand the things sometimes. You know, the time jumps, not even time jumps, but something happens and somebody's in some dire straits or something. And the next thing you know, the next episode is like, they don't show you how they got out of it, which I don't need to see, I guess. But no,
Yeah.
we saw Alicia up on top of the well, actually that's all for you guys who haven't seen it yet. In for the way the most current episode ends, Alicia's on top of her and Strand are finally fighting. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And she's in the
In the tower, but yeah.
And then that whole thing just is so interesting to me because Strand at one point was about to kill everybody out there, but then he's doing everything he can to try to save them. And then he switches, you know what I mean? It just goes back and forth. And then the other character, what was his name? Will or
yeah.
The guy with the dreads. His I never understood.
He switched like fast.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Because there was somebody lied about something, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are no good," and he started going to Strand. But not only was Strand, but he was willing to kill all his people that he was with. You know, all his friends. You know, it just and Strand's motivation, people who he is going to kill.
Yeah, this season, you'll never take my tower.
Blah, but then he invites people into the tower.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They've come in, and then they are. It's just
wishy-washy.
You know,
I don't know what to say.
It's just, to me, it's just crazy. I don't really understand. I think they're just, and then there's been a mass shedding of characters this past season also. I mean, you know, the young girl, I can't think whose names ever, who killed
Alicia's brother.
You know, she's
got
dying
cancer.
Now of radioactive. She's radioactive, radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
You know, they killed off Strand's main dude. You know, the guy whose tower it was in the very beginning, the historian.
Yeah.
You know, they killed him off. They killed the dude with the dreads off, Will or
John's dad.
You know, John's dad. It's just been a mass exodus. So I think they're either going to go in a new direction with a smaller amount of characters. You know, next season we know Madison's coming back. That's awesome. I'm actually very excited to see her. I know we talked about this before. I don't want them to kill Alicia off before we get some type of Madison reunion. You know what I mean? I don't want
it just seems to be taking a whole lot of episodes to get to a certain point to me. You know what I mean? Like it's just the whole like we're gonna come and take the tower and Strand, and no, you're not. And then you know they build it all up like they're finally gonna do it, and then he's like, oh, I should, let's go turn the light off so your friends can get up here. It's like, come on, really, man? After all this, like we've been watching the whole season waiting for this big battle, and you're just gonna turncoat like that. And then the other dude's like, I take care of it. Bang, gets shot. I was like, oh, well, you know. Okay. Well, what's happening now? Oh, great. They're all getting along. And they get on the top of the roof, and Alicia and Strand start arguing and catch the damn place on fire and burn up
Yeah,
the crops. I was like, you idiots, man. Why do they do stuff like that? It's only two people that are doing it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And they seem like the weakest people in the world that should be running anything. You know what I mean?
yeah,
She's walking around with like part of her hand and a couple of blades on, like she's a badass. You know what I mean? I'm serious. I'm just like, somebody please take her out.
yeah.
Please. I wish she would just change, and then she'd be like the badass walker walking around with this like crazy arm on it, you know? But right now, she's just like some chick that's like, I gotta go. I'm gonna lead everybody. And she passes out. Like, hey, what's going on?
And then Morgan's got on a raft. He's out there floating around
Yeah,
now.
like
So
the
him and
number one
Strand have
chance.
this.
The
Yeah,
chance he just took off with like the baby, which I understand.
yeah,
But I mean, couldn't he got somebody, one of the other people to, maybe like two or three people to take the baby instead of just one?
yeah. It just, I don't know. I am hanging on by a thread with The Walking Dead. I think the movies are going to be a lot more, or what I think these new spinoffs, I think they're going to know. They can't just be telling us the same story. So obviously, we're going to get a new direction with the fast zombies and all of that stuff. So I think it'll be more. It'll be something different. You know what I mean? I think the zombies maybe become the main threat again, as opposed to
Yeah,
people these
I hope
days.
so. I hope so. I think that, when they came out with like Fear the Walking Dead, I know it was a spinoff, and then with the World Beyond and all that, they were really just fillers to get you through until the Walking Dead season comes back on.
I will tell you what I thought about Fear the Walking Dead. I really enjoyed it because I am a fan of movies where society starts to break down, like
Y-
whether it be a disaster movie, you know what I mean, or whether it be a zombie movie, whatever it might be.
Yep.
I love that end of apocalyptic, not into the apocalypse already, but the beginning of the apocalyptic feel of movies. I really do enjoy those. So to me, for The Walking Dead, to go back and see the beginning of it and to have them go through what they were going through in each episode, seeing society break down, break down, break down more. I enjoyed that. I
Yeah.
really did. I enjoyed the first few seasons, and I've enjoyed. I think where they started to lose me is when they were out there doing they when in Fear the Walking Dead when they had crashed and they were in a store. They were do-gooders, you know what I mean? And they had taken the
Yeah.
plane to go to try to find somebody. They crashed and they were in a store. And they couldn't get out because it was that's when they very first started dealing with radioactive zombies, because that's when they met
Yeah.
the doctor who had the baby and all of that stuff, and Morgan's girlfriend now and all that stuff.
Yep.
And then I think after that they continued to just go on and try to do be good Samaritans. After they finally got out of there the first half of the season, they were just going and leaving videotapes and stuff like that. And then and just and the anthology feel of Fear the Walking Dead that it's gotten to now, it's just like every episode is just like, you know, focusing on something different or different aspect of what's going
Yep.
on, as opposed to continuing on that main story that they would revisit sometimes. I don't know. It just
I
it
think
just
we've talked about before where I don't like where they concentrate on one character for the whole show, or sometimes it's two characters. Like they did
yeah,
it with Dwight and his wife, that one episode where it was like the whole episode. And they're
Dwight and Sherry.
interesting. Yeah, they're interesting characters, but they're not a whole show interesting character.
Right, right.
Just like Alicia, to me, she's one of the main players, but not by herself. To me, it was just like, man, I can't say too much about, because I just watched the newest one on AMC Plus, so I'm a
Yeah,
week
don't say
ahead.
anything.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
gotta finish.
I'm not going to
Gotta
say
finish
anything
it.
about it, but I'll stick with it. I like The Walking Dead. I like all the series. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
but I guess to me now it is kind of just like a filler to get through to the
To the
next
walking.
season. That's what it feels like now, because I'm like, I'll watch it even though it's not that interesting to me right now.
Right.
They
And
did me
then
in when the whole bomb. I was like, oh well, that's it. End of show. It's like, oh, now they're trying to survive in like these hazmat suits that have been out there for like, what, 12 years now? Just
yeah,
whatever.
it's crazy. It is for sure.
And these like average people are, I'm gonna set this nuclear bomb off. It's like, you don't even know how to work that thing. Don't tell me. Come on, man.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, guys. Well, we only have like two more episodes, I think, before the finale
Yeah.
of Fear, and then we'll go on a Walking Dead hiatus until the fall.
Yep.
And then we have the last batch of episodes.
Then it'll kick back in because Walking Dead was getting good.
Yeah. True. Well, guys, I think that might bring us to the end of the episode. We did a little bit of an extra long episode since we've been have a bit of a hiatus. I hope you stuck with us. Thank you very much for waiting for us to get back. We're excited to be back. We're going to have a string of episodes coming out for the next few weeks, so don't worry about that. No more breaks for the near future.
Well, I keep throwing in cryptid stuff, so I'm hoping to get you interested enough that we can do those 2-night camping things where we look for Bigfoot with our pocket knife.
If we're doing that at Yogi Bear's campground, then I'm totally down.
Yeah.
Hey, those places have cabins, they have air conditioning, they have TV. That's where we go. That's where me and my family go. When we want the camping feel, we hit the Yogi Bear campground.
It says right here, Land Between the Lakes has cabins too. You can stay in cabins at Land Between the Lakes.
I'm in.
Yeah.
There we go. Totally down.
I would still be scared in the cabin.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, Jason, my friend, it has been fun.
Same here, buddy. Same here.
Good to be back, bud. Listen, guys, thank you very much. Remember, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow us. You can listen to us wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcast, which is, I hope, is us. But that you can find us there. Please pass us along to your friends. We'd love to be able to continue on, and we want to keep talking about topics you guys want us to talk about. So let us know anything you want us to talk about, and we'll implement them for the show. Yeah. Cool. Well, Jason, my friend, I bid you adieu.
Yeah, same here, Lee. Good to see you, man, and I will see you next time.
All right, dude. Later.